家好，我是来自利兹中国学联的徐景维。那么今天非常感谢利兹卫生局以及 Chapeltown Health Centre 的帮助，能够来到这里为大家录制一些关于疫苗接种的问题。So could you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah. Hi, welcome to Leeds. My name's Laura O'Dala. I work as an infection prevention and control nurse here at Leeds Community Health Centre.
问题一：如果在国内接种了2支国产新冠疫苗，还可以接种由 NHS 提供的疫苗吗？
The answer is yes. If you've had 2 doses of the Sinovac vaccine, a booster can be given 1 to 3 months after.
问题2：新冠疫苗可能有哪些副作用？如果出现某些症状，我该如何处理？
So, a very common side effect is a local reaction at the site of the vaccine, and that can be quite a tender sort of areas where you've had the vaccine. You might also get swelling, redness to the skin, and you might also experience fever, headache, fatigue, aching, and even in some very rare cases, nausea and vomiting. Obviously, if the symptoms are sort of too much for you to sort of deal with at home, we'd advise you to ring 111, which is our emergency line, and they will give you extended medical advice.
问题3：中国留学生在英国可以注射哪些类型的新冠疫苗？
So currently the UK has issued the Moderna vaccine for the booster. Very good research about the Pfizer covering the new variants that are circulating in the UK. But with vaccine supply, we know in Leeds it will be the Moderna vaccine.
问题4：校园内的疫苗接种点在哪里？
Unfortunately, I can't give you the answer to that question. What the council tend to do is they arrange pop-up clinics. So what they'll do is they'll confirm a date and time for when the students come, and then they can access these clinics. But that day would be to be confirmed in present time.
问题5：接种疫苗后是否有任何饮食或其他方面限制？
From all the research, no, there is no sort of restriction on any dietary requirement after the vaccine.
问题6：如果在国内已经注射了3支新冠疫苗，还可以在英国注射加强针吗？
Currently, no, because our UK guidance is that's sufficient for the initial course. If the students were experiencing any sort of vulnerability where they were immunocompromised, for example, they were going through cancer treatment where they significantly had a lower immune system, we would recommend a 4th booster vaccine.
问题7：如果在国内接种了3剂灭活疫苗，来英国后是否需要继续接种 mRNA 疫苗？
Okay, so a lot of Chinese students would experience having 3 doses of inactivated vaccines like provided by Sinovac or Sinopharm, and not RNA vaccines such as Moderna or Pfizer. So if a student from China wanted to get vaccinated with mRNA vaccines, how many doses should they get considering their previous vaccinations?
Yeah, that's a very good question. All in all, there's 4 COVID vaccines available in the UK. All these vaccines have been approved by the MHRA, which is our regulatory body for medicines in the UK. In regards to the Chinese students, if they've already had the 3 vaccines, they would have the same approval from their medicine agencies there. Therefore, they won't need a revaccination when they enter the UK if they've had 3 of those vaccines.
问题8：在利兹接种加强针有哪些品牌可供选择？
So a lot of students wanted to ask if they wanted to get a booster in the UK, and they're over 18 years old. Could they only choose Moderna, or are there any other choices like Pfizer, AstraZeneca?
Yeah, the other choice is the Pfizer. Currently, I think there is a bit of a shortage of Pfizer vaccines in Leeds, but that is another if they want to try the Moderna. personal experience, I've been vaccinated with the booster Moderna, and I was absolutely fine. I didn't have any side effects. And obviously the research suggests that, you know, it's very, very, very rare to get any complications following a Moderna. We previously had AstraZeneca, which is now not a vaccine of choice for the younger people.
Okay. I've had Moderna too, and I didn't have much side effects either.
Yeah.
问题8：国产疫苗是否被英国以及欧盟认可？
So a student asked if they've had all their 3 doses about half a year ago, but they heard that some countries in the EU do not approve of vaccinations given in China, such as Sinovac vaccines. So they wanted to ask if they wanted to travel to EU countries. Could they get vaccinated again in the UK? Would there be consequences?
Yeah, that's a difficult question. In terms of travel requirements, my sort of advice would be to always look at the government website to see what the latest guidance is around different countries. A lot of EU countries are doing something different in regards to travel. Their requirements are different. For example, some countries would only require 2 vaccines plus a booster. Some countries just say 2 vaccines. Some countries say no vaccines, but a sort of example of a negative PCR result. So with that, again, it's ever changing. I don't know about the regulations with the Chinese vaccine and travelling. If you were to have a student who wanted to travel and couldn't get that information, my best guess would be for them to ring the embassy.
问题9：在英国接种疫苗是否免费？
So, very broad question. If we were talking about the COVID vaccine, that is a free vaccine. In regards to students travelling from China, I know Leeds City Council is offering a bespoke pop-up clinic for students to get vaccinated, and that will be completely free of charge.
问题10：英国目前是否有天花或猴痘疫苗？
Yeah, so with the cases of monkeypox increasing in the UK from last summer, we're offering a smallpox vaccine which will cover the monkeypox. With that, it is available, but it's a very, very sort of strict criterion, and it would be anyone who was a close contact of someone who was affected with monkeypox.
问题11：如果学生有糖尿病、高血压或其他基础疾病，他们还能在英国接种疫苗吗？
Absolutely. Those conditions that you mentioned, they would be in a high-risk category for the COVID vaccine. Therefore, we'd strongly recommend that get the vaccine.
问题12：有研究表明，混打不同种类新冠疫苗会为我们提供更好的保护，是真的吗？
I've read a study recently about the effectiveness of homologous and heterologous booster vaccines. So basically about how a combination of different vaccines coming together could provide better protection for COVID-19. Have you heard of this study? Could you elaborate a bit more on this?
Yeah, I think I've heard the study. So homologous vaccines, which means, for example, 2 doses of Pfizer with a booster provided by Pfizer as well, they might not be quite as effective as a heterologous vaccine, such as 2 doses of Pfizer with a booster, and that could be provided by a different company like Moderna or AstraZeneca. I believe from the study that I've read, 2 doses of Sinovac and a booster of Pfizer has the best protection against COVID-19.